Hey guys, so a couple of weeks ago I did a quick overview of my 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport Turbo Limited, and today I want to just jump inside of it and kind of go over some of the tech items a little bit into detail. So let's go ahead and hop in. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. Now, the little door chime that didn't work last time, it should work now. And the reason why it didn't work before is because I actually had gotten into the car without unlocking it. So now that I've locked it and then re-unlocked it, we should hear the chime. And there we go. Okay, so sorry for the glare, but I wanted to get this video in as soon as I can. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to go ahead and start the car first. And we just put our foot on the brake and hit that little power button there. That should crank the car up. And let's go ahead and turn the AC down just so we're not blaring out here. Let's go ahead and turn the fan down. Okay. All right. So the technology in this car compared to other vehicles is pretty competitive. It does have a lot of features that some of the other cars that I was looking at doesn't have. In particular, I was looking at the 2015 Nissan Altima 3.5 SL, and one of the big features that this car has that the Altima did not have is the smart cruise control. And I'm going to talk about that in another vehicle, in another video that I'm going to do, which is a driving video. But let's go ahead and just real quickly go through these. So basically, like I was saying before, this is just to you know, make the instrument panel here and all of your lights when it's dark lighter and dimmer. This feature here is for your blind spot, which if you do that, you're not going to get it. You blue light, you turn it on, which basically allows you to see if there's a car coming up into your blind spot. And it works really, really well. This button here is for your lane keeping assist, which basically means that when this is activated, there is a small camera located up here behind this little box that will actually read the lines of the road and tell you whether or not you're drifting in or out of your lane. And you will actually get a little warning here in the little center console LCD display there. Down here is your fuel. Pretty straightforward. I will let you know this in case people don't realize it, but the fuel cap is plastic, and it feels like a flimsy plastic. And maybe because I'm used to my last car, which was a 2003 Nissan Altima, it was an actual metal door. Well, this door is a plastic door. I guess time will tell to see how that holds up over time, but hopefully we won't have to open and close it as many times. This right here obviously is to access the trunk. Right here is your, sorry about that. This is actually the traction control to turn it off and turn it on. Very you know, you can actually see what that is. So, but basically, okay. So that's everything on that side. All right, now over here, this is for your voice commands. So you can actually hit this and say a few commands. And I want to give you an example of this, what the navigation system is capable of doing. It actually can do a couple of things. You can just say like find nearest Chinese restaurant, and it'll actually go out and find your nearest Chinese restaurant. But I've noticed that you can also say like actual places, like find nearest McDonald's, you know, find nearest Firehouse Subs or whatever, or find nearest Subway Subs, and it works pretty good. So I want to give you an example of that. We're going to do a quick search, let's say for Firehouse Subs. So basically you hit this.
Please say a command after the beep.
Find the nearest Subway Subs. I was supposed to say Firehouse. Yeah. So it takes a second or two, it'll find it. And it's actually
Please say the line number.
4. Don't know why we're
Would you like to go to this POI?
Yes.
Start guidance.
Okay, so we're gonna cancel that. Sorry, I was supposed to say Firehouse, but for some reason I was thinking of Subway. So we'll go ahead and we will just cancel that. So let's.
The route guidance will start now.
Yeah, okay, not cancel. Okay, yes. Okay, go back to home. All right, so that's one of the things you could do with it. There's a number of other commands, and in the manual it actually tells you all of the different commands you can tell it. Basically, back to here, this mode here can change between your different modes on your stereo. So right now it's on the Sirius XM. So you hit it again, then it'll go to Bluetooth audio. You hit it again, put it on the AM FM, and so on and so forth, and back to Sirius. Okay, this is for your volume up and down. This is so you can change your channels of your radio. Very, very standard, straightforward, easy to use. Right here is to receive a call. Right here is to actually hang up the call. Very easy. Right here is a button that you can actually toggle through this center console thing here. If you can see that, let's focus in. There we go. And you have several different little menus that you can go through. And also when you get to a menu, say for instance this one, you can now use this one to actually toggle up and down to get different things. Which is kind of neat, and it actually has a little push in as well, and that's actually how you can set your mileage. So if you hold it down, that will reset. Also, let's just kind of go through some of these other menus. Your lane departure, right here it'll show you your XM and your service, and your these are your settings, and there's several different things you can go through in here. When you hit the button in, it'll actually go into this menu. So basically, you know, there's a ton of things in here that you can go through. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. And there's a lot of things you can customize as well. So service interval, other features. So, but anyhow, all right. Right here is for the cruise control, which this turns it on and off. This is for the smart cruise control, which I'll talk about more whenever we do our driving test in one of the other videos. And this is the cancel the cruise. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to figure out. Now I want to come over here to the radio system, because I want to show you one thing that's really cool. This car actually came pre-installed with 2 apps. It came installed with Pandora radio, and it came installed with SoundHound, which is kind of like the Shazam, where you can hit it and it'll actually tell you what the name of the song is and whatnot. So I'm going to show you Pandora. So basically what you do is, on your phone, which I'm holding, you have to launch Pandora, the Pandora app, which hopefully this is going to work. Which I already have it launched on my phone, and then all you have to do is you can find it in your menus, but I actually made a shortcut under my menus. So I'll go to my menus and I'll actually launch the Pandora app, and it's gonna connect to my phone, which is in my hand. All right, so what this does is it actually will play saved stations that you have saved within Pandora. So you can't actually like browse all of the stations. I guess they made this so you can basically you know, so you're trying to, you know, not look at this the whole time. So we'll just change stations and I'll show you how quickly it changes. Let's just go to this right here, and there you go. It starts playing, and then you can actually change. Let's turn it down. You can actually change the actual station, or skip the next song by here. So when you hit up, it'll actually find the next song. Pretty simple. So let's see. Let's go to another station here. Let's try some 90s. And like I was saying before, it actually loads pretty quick. Even though, as you can see right up here, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi at my house. I will tell you, it loads just as fast when I'm on LTE. And just so you know, the phone that I'm using is a Note 4, so it's a pretty quick phone, but it loads really, really fast. And the one thing I want to say about this this whole, I guess you can't really call it a navigation system anymore, really an infotainment center, is compared to some of the other cars that I looked at, I think this one is probably the best laid out. The screen is definitely the best. You actually have an 8-inch screen, and I believe when I was reading in the manual, it is a 480 by 800 resolution, which anything over 720 is considered HD. So of course, no, you're not going to watch any HD movies on here, but it actually looks really, really good. And the way I like that it's laid out, you have your home button here. It kind of splits everything up into its own little zone here. So you have your navigation map, you have what's playing on your radio, and of course you have these three options here. Just so you know, each zone you can touch them, and it actually goes into its own little portion of the software. So like in the navigation, if you touch a screen there, it actually maximizes the navigation for you. You can go back to home, go back to hit the radio, it goes into the radio, which in this case is the Pandora app playing. Go back to home. Now this right here is all menus. This is everything that's part of the infotainment center: radio, music, image, which I'm going to tell you guys, it's kind of, it's weird because you can put a thumb drive into the little bay down here, which I'll show you in a second, and it actually will display a little image. Now what's crazy about it is it only displays it when you're parked. When you put the car in drive and take off, it says you can't be displayed because of some kind of safety warning, which to me is just kind of a waste. So anyway, so auxiliary, so you can toggle between, you know, if you have your phone or iPod or whatever plugged into the auxiliary port, that'll get you there. That is the Pandora app, which is preloaded in the car. Current location, which obviously brings you back to the map. Back to all menus. Navigation, which is the same thing. Phone, which allows you to get into your phone and make phone calls. Apps, which is a collection of your downloaded apps, and as you can see, there's only one that I actually have downloaded, which is the Car Care app. On a side note, Android Auto, from what I'm told, is coming soon. It is showing up on Hyundai's website, so hopefully I'm going to see that pretty soon. I'm anxious to get that. Apple CarPlay, my wife has an iPhone 6, so we're also going to be kind of waiting on that to see how that works. And I may do a video on that as well when that comes out. Now, you know what? I will do a video on that. So anyhow, Blue Link, which I'll show you in a second. Quick guide, Sirius XM data, SoundHound, which is the other preloaded app, which, like I said before, is allows you to listen to songs or see what the songs are. And actually, let's go ahead and show you that right now. So let's turn this up a little bit. And let's go ahead and say, what's the song? Alright, there you go. So, sometimes it shows lyrics, sometimes it doesn't. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'm going to be reading lyrics while I'm driving down the road. You can, you know, similar artists. If you guys know the SoundHound app on your phone, it's pretty similar to that. But anyhow, so let's go back. Voice commands. This will actually get you to where you can kind of get an overview of some of the commands that you can actually say. So if you don't know any of the commands, you can just kind of pop in here and check it out. Commands you can do for the radio. Now, I don't use any of these commands for the radio. I haven't learned them all yet. So anyways, and for the media and whatnot. Okay, and then setup actually, brings you to this button over here, which is, there are a lot of redundant buttons in here, which I can understand, but you know, it is what it is. Setup for the navigation. This will actually allow you to set up for, like, you know, is it in miles, is it in kilometers, default setting. Display gives you different indications for your lines. This is kind of cool. This is actually almost the color of my car, so I chose that one, which, you know, oh well. Guidance, simple or detailed. I mean, guys, there's a lot of stuff in here. If you get this car, there's just going to be a bevy of things. I actually spent almost all night just kind of going through this and playing around with it. There's so much stuff. Routes, traffic. So basically you can see traffic, and it's kind of neat because it actually will pop up. I was driving down the road and my traffic thing popped up and told me, hey, there's an accident ahead. Do you want to go around it, blah, blah, whatever. So that's that. Blue Link, voice recognition clock, Wi-Fi. I'm going to tell you this. This does not mean that your car has Wi-Fi, that it's become a Wi-Fi hotspot. All this means is you actually can set your car up to connect to your Wi-Fi. Like my Wi-Fi is called Middle Earth at my house. I'm connected to it, and it actually will find other Wi-Fis in the area, and you can just connect to them. It allows you to download apps more quickly when Hyundai releases them. So yeah, language, keyboard, all this stuff is kind of self-explanatory. Screensaver, which doesn't really do anything yet. System info. For those of y'all who have a car like this, I want you to pause it here. Take a look at the firmware that I have installed and get back with me and tell me if you have the same firmware, because I've seen some things on the forum where people are having problems with certain things in their car. I have no problems whatsoever in this car, and I already have right at 4,000 miles. Almost haven't had a single problem with anything messing up on the radio or anything like that. So check my firmware. Maybe we have a different firmware or whatever. This car actually was built in February of this year, and I purchased it in March, so maybe I have a revised version. I don't know. But just check it out and I guess get back with me. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much it for that. Down here is obviously just for your radio, media, which you can toggle between Bluetooth and back to the radio. Phone is just the phone. Blue Link is kind of like the OnStar, which this actually, you can get driving info. So let's say it's not going to really show anything right now because it's since the last time you started the car. So you can see here we have been idling, wow, for 17 minutes since I started this video, and part one. It gives you some information on that. You guys can pause the video and just kind of take a look at that. Don't really use it that much, but it's there. Send to car with Google actually allows you to send point of interest addresses to your car. Haven't figured out how to do that just yet, but it's there. Vehicle Diagnostics, which if you go to here, it'll actually run a check and see if there's anything wrong with it. I think it's the same thing if you had like an ODB2 connector. It'll tell you whether you have any codes or anything. Obviously there's nothing wrong, which is great. Blue Link settings, which just kind of gives you your information of Blue Link, and that's all of that. Let's see. My menu actually allows you to put favorites from the all menus, so you can actually kind of put favorites in there and they kind of show up here. This is what I want to show you, and those of you that already have a Sirius XM subscription, and I show people this that never seen it and they're just blown away that a car can actually do this. So we go into Sirius XM. Oops, wrong thing. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Sirius XM data. So you get weather, traffic, fuel prices, stocks, sports, and movies. And we're just going to go through these. And sometimes I've seen where they don't show up, and I think it's because maybe it doesn't have the information at the time, but weather always seems to work. So let's go to weather. Weather is the only one that you can actually check while you're driving. So this just kind of gives you information on the weather. It's very, it's very straightforward. It's right most of the time. You can see 5 days here. You can see it's going to be pretty hot come Thursday and Friday. But anyways, traffic actually gives you information about the traffic around in your area. Let's see what we got. No results. So I guess there's really no traffic around here because I live kind of out in the country. So that would make sense. Fuel prices. You can actually set favorite stations. You can try to check nearby stations, or you can filter. So let's just check favorite station. And there we go. There is probably the gas station I go to most of the time. It gives you a very up-to-date price per gallon. This is for regular unleaded. Let's check nearby stations and see what we got. There we go, nearby stations. So that is kind of showing you some of the other stations that are in the area. And what's kind of neat is you could just tap on them, and boom, voila, your navigation pops up, and you can hit set as destination and navigate to it, and you're good to go. So that's kind of neat. Let's go back and let's go to stocks. I only have one stock, which is Google, so just kind of keep an eye on that. Sports, you go into sports and you can actually see different sports you have, so you can set your teams. And let's see what the Yankees did. I think they beat the Red Sox last night, and it looks like they did. Awesome. So you can see the schedule, the next game coming up, and all the different sports you can check on. What's others? Let's see what others is. Oh, MLS. So let's see what MLS is. There we go. So there you go. So you guys who like soccer, you can get your soccer scores there under other. All right. So movies, you can actually see. You can set favorite theaters, which is this theater here. Actually went and saw the Avengers 2 yesterday. It's fantastic. Highly recommend checking it out. Let's see, top movies. And yeah, there we go. Avengers. So you can click on that. It tells you where it's playing. You can get information on it. Actually, where are we at? There we go. Information. Kind of gives you a little overview of the movie. Not that big of a deal, but it's there. It's there. And like I said before, guys, a lot of the stuff you cannot access while you're driving. The only thing you can access while you're driving is weather and traffic. Those are the only two things you can see. And I believe fuel prices. I think. Stocks you can't, movies you can't, and sports you can't. Obviously, I don't want you looking at that while you're driving. So there you go. There's a big overview of the navigation system. So coming down here, very, very basic. You have heated and cooled seats. This is for automatic, which I had turned off because it was getting kind of loud. So let me turn it down again. Oh, and I will tell you that the cooled seats actually work really good. It takes like 20 seconds. You can actually start feeling getting kind of cold on your back and on your behind. So works really, really well. Okay, so down here, go ahead and open this. All right, so in here is like a little cubby. Let me just kind of move this out of the way so you can see. And let's go ahead and put the auto brake on, which I'll tell you in a second. So basically in here is like a little cubby hole. You have two 12-volt outlets. Currently right now what I've got plugged in is I've got my Jaybird Bluebud X Bluetooth headphones in there, which I haven't plugged in, but they're in there. And then I have my Note 4. USB and then auxiliary. I will have to tell you guys this. I don't know if because my Note 4 has a massive battery or what, or if it uses a lot with the screen. But when I plug my phone into that USB, it doesn't really charge it that fast. It's almost like if you plugged it into a USB of a computer versus plugging it into an actual outlet that supplies 12 volts. So that's just my take on it. Okay, I know a couple of you have asked me about this phone dock that I built, and I just want to kind of go over it a little bit. So underneath here was a small little cubby, or a little hole, whatever, not a hole, but like a little, something like this. Was probably made for throwing change in there, or for maybe throwing your keys, which I don't ever do. So what I decided to do is try to make something to be able to dock my phone. So what I used is I had some styrofoam, a little block of styrofoam, and I just kind of took the styrofoam and I just kind of used some sandpaper and molded it and shaved it and shaped it to where it fits pretty snug in here. Then what I did was I wrapped it in some of this cloth, which I bought at Michael's. And I had this old phone dock that you can kind of put on your... Okay, so what I did was I had this phone dock. Sorry, but the video had cut off, but I'll stitch them together. But so this old phone dock that I had, I actually took it and cut the bottom little suction cup off of it and used a big long screw and a big washer and kind of drilled it, not in the car, but inside this, through the styrofoam piece after it was mounted, and just kind of stuck this on here. And actually, it's on there pretty good. I mean, you can see, you can move it around. This is really, really tight enough, so that's not really coming out without really breaking anything, which I'm okay with. And basically all it is, you can see back here, has a little button. It's just a cheap, you know, phone dock that I got. And everything looks nice and clean. So when you close this up, I dock my phone and bloop, plug it in. And what I think I'm gonna do is, I have the wireless kit on my phone. I think I'm gonna get a wireless dock. Hopefully I can find one and probably stick it on here, and then kind of have this always plugged in. So all I have to do is just dock my phone on it, and we're good to go. So, okay, so that's kind of it on the phone dock. Nothing to it. Again, piece of styrofoam, molded and shaped into the actual hole there, wrapped in that felt cloth, and then voila, you got yourself a nice little phone dock. Okay, so back to this here. A couple of things you have drive mode, which I had talked about before. There's 3 driving modes. You have normal, you have eco, and then you have sport. Okay, and I'm going to talk more about those 3 driving modes, but I will tell you this, guys. From eco to sport, it's a completely different animal car. I mean, it's like it's not the same car. It shifts much faster. It seems to me at least, it seems to rev a lot faster. The steering is much more tight, more responsive. You can feel the road. The braking actually feels a little bit more sensitive. It's just a completely different car when you put it in sport. Don't try to drive around sport too much, because it doesn't like to shift into 6th gear unless you're going really fast, like 70, and then it'll finally shift into 6th gear. Other than that, it's going to stay in 5th gear, because it's wanting you to be able to have that barely touching the gas pedal for it to downshift and just go. But anyways, so this here is for your parking. So when you put the car into reverse, and you have your backup camera, when you have this engaged, you can actually see things surrounding, and you can kind of see there are people now walking behind me. So yeah, so when they walk in your view there, and your lines which turn with the wheel, it'll actually make all kinds of noise saying, hey, there's somebody behind you, or there's cross traffic coming from one side or the other. Really good, helpful. Auto parking brake, when you pull this up, and you probably couldn't hear that, but it actually puts the parking brake on. To disengage that, I thought all you had to do was hit the button or pull it up again, but it didn't do anything. To turn it off, when you put the car in gear, it actually disengages it. So just one thing to think about. Auto hold. This is probably the best feature I have to say that's in this car, the smartest thing besides the smart cruise control. What this does is, if you're at a drive-through, or if you're in a lot of say really slow stop and go traffic, you turn this guy on here, and you can see here, I'm going to push the button. You'll see what it'll do is, you'll see that auto hold comes on. When you're in gear, you see how that turned green. Basically what I did is I put my foot on the brake, if you can see that, and it actually, when you put your foot on the brake and you push down a little bit more, it actually will engage that auto hold. And you can see my car is in drive, my foot is on nothing, and we are going nowhere. It's actually auto holding the car right now with the brake on. To disengage that, when you touch the gas pedal, gotta watch it, it'll run to my garage, it will actually turn off, and we are now moving. When you put your foot on the brake, if you put slight pressure just to stop the car, it won't turn on, but as soon as you push it a little harder, boop, it turns it green, and now you can take your foot off the brake. Really neat. That way you don't have to sit there with your foot on the brake the whole time. To turn off the system, you just hit the button once, have your foot on the brake, hit the button once, and it actually turns it off. And that, guys, is pretty much it for this video here. I didn't really talk about the CD player because CDs are kind of old school. I don't really have any, and I've never really used it, but I will tell you that it is a 6-disc in here. So what I'm thinking you do is you just load a CD. You probably hold this, you load one CD, you wait, you put another CD in, and keep going, which was the same thing that I had in my Ultima. It's probably the same type of system everywhere. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Also, this is filmed on the 4th, so all you Star Wars fans out there, may the 4th be with you. It actually is my son's 10th birthday, my oldest son's 10th birthday, and he's a big Star Wars fan, so that's kind of neat that his birthday falls on May the 4th. So again, guys, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. And again, stay tuned. Like my channel. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you a driving video short here. Sorry it took a little while to get this video out. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of work. I'm an IT engineer, so a lot of server installs coming up here during the spring and summertime. So I'm going to try to get this next video out, the driving video out, as soon as I can. But see you guys later. Peace.